What's up, boys? I just finished recording this video that you guys are about to watch, and honestly, this one has crazy value. I'm gonna be dropping so much more value in the next few days. I have tons of ideas in the works, and honestly, I'm turning my YouTube channel into pretty much a free course. So if you guys are into dropshipping and e-com in general, make sure to subscribe because honestly, I'm gonna be dropping everything. I'm not gatekeeping anything behind a Discord, a course, or anything. I'm just gonna be dropping pure value, no ask in return. But without further ado, I'm gonna let you get right into the video here. All right, boys, we are back. In this video, I'm gonna be talking about how you can guarantee 5 or 6% conversion rate with your brand. And in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down price, offer, landing page, and I'm even gonna be breaking down examples of brands that are just absolutely crushing it and how you can implement certain things on your landing page and in terms of your offer that's going to help you scale to 100, 200, 500k plus per month. And before we get started, these are my credentials. In the last week alone, our brands have done almost $1 million in revenue, which is absolutely crazy. We're obviously ramping up a big time for Q4, and as I've mentioned previously, no, these aren't all my own personal accounts. This is a mixture of personal and client accounts. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so now we're in my screen here, and you can see this resource that I just kind of whipped up super quick, and it pretty much breaks down the different variables that make up your conversion rate. And obviously there's some other things that also play into this. Your creative, Facebook traffic, how warmed up your ad account is, those kind of things are sort of secondary when it comes to what impacts your conversion rate. But honestly, these are the three biggest things, and it comes down to price, offer, landing page. Honestly, the number one thing that affects your conversion rate is your pricing. If Apple started selling their iPhones tomorrow for $100 each, their conversion rate would be through the roof. So you really have to recognize that your price is really the one thing that's holding back your customer. And that's the thing that every time a new customer comes to your page, you need to convince them that the price they're gonna pay for your product is sort of a no-brainer. And don't get it twisted. That doesn't mean that I want you to price your products really cheap and really undercut your competitors just to try and improve your conversion rate. Actually, quite the opposite. Honestly, I've always found the most success with pricing my products in like a premium way that I'm more expensive than all my competitors, and this allows me to also outspend all my competitors. And it also gives people kind of the idea that my product is just higher quality in general. And obviously you can't necessarily do this if you're like a real beginner and you don't know how to create a landing page and an offer that really justifies that. But when done correctly, pricing your product higher than your competitors and then justifying it as sort of the premium product on the market is really the best way to go. I don't want you to be scared of charging people a good amount for your product, because I think when a lot of people start out, they're just scared to put a certain price tag on their product, and they price based on what their competitors are doing and that sort of thing. If you're just undercutting your competitors, they're gonna outspend you every single time. Your margins are gonna suck, and you're honestly never gonna be able to scale, even if you have a winning product. And the next variable that goes really hand in hand with your price is actually your offer. And later in this video, I'm gonna break down specific examples of offers you can create. But to start, I'm just gonna get into kind of the overarching guidelines that you should really be following when you're creating your offer in general. First thing you want to make sure of is your offer needs to be simple to understand. I see this so many times where people have buy one, get one free, and when you get to this tier, you get a free gift, and then you get an extra percentage off. Your offer is all over the place. People can't really comprehend what kind of savings they're getting. So you really just have to dumb it down as much as you can. The next biggest thing with your offer is you actually have to create some sense of urgency. So depending on the time of year, you can really play into sort of seasonal urgency, whether it be end of summer, Labor Day, Black Friday. There's a lot of different seasonal times where you're able to kind of play into this urgency, but there's also times where you're in the middle of a season where there's not necessarily something that you can offer, and that's when you might want to look at, stock urgency or that kind of thing. Either way, you need to find a way where you're going to be able to convert people right then and there. You also want to be sure to incentivize people with your offer to get your upper or middle tier. And what I mean by that is generally when I'm creating offers, I'll have at least 3 or 4 offers, and generally the way I structure them, it just becomes a no-brainer for the customer to go with that middle or upper tier. A lot of the time that just means, overpricing for your bottom tier, and that might obviously affect your conversion rate, but in turn, if everything else is dialed in, that's going to help you out big time with your AOV, and it's going to help you scale ultimately. And the next thing is actually aligning your offer with your product. And what I mean by this is I see so many times people are just doing like buy one, get one free offers for the stupidest products that people wouldn't want 2, 3, 4, 5 of. If you're doing a buy one, get one free for something like an LED face mask, it makes absolutely no sense. No one's gonna opt in for your middle or upper tiers. So honestly, a lot of the time your offer comes down to what niche you're in, and it's really product specific. So most of the time, if it's consumables, if it's like a skincare product or a serum or something that people are gonna use and run out of, that's where I usually go with like buy one, get one free offers. If your product is more so something that your customer probably would just want one of, then that's where you would probably want to build an offer based on free gifts and upsells and that kind of thing. And again, one of the biggest things to avoid in your offers is over discounting, because again, that's just going to kind of make your customer think that your brand is cheap and that, you know, maybe these kind of offers are happening all the time, which again causes issues with your urgency and getting people to convert right then and there as well. And finally, A/B testing is the most important thing, honestly. And there's a lot of Shopify apps that allow you to A/B test different offers, different landing pages. And ultimately, that's what it comes down to, is just testing what works with your brand and your product. Because you could take an offer from a huge brand in a different niche and kind of replicate that offer for your own brand. And obviously, there's so many different variables at play that it's probably just not going to work the same for you as it did for them. So again, just be sure to test. The third variable at play here is actually your landing page. And I'm not going to get too in depth with that because I'm going to break down some examples in a second. But really the main thing that you want to be thinking when you're creating your landing page is how you're justifying that price and how you're also differentiating from your competition. So this is a brand called Rose Skin Co. and they sell this like permanent hair removal device for women. And if you scroll down here, you could pretty much just see they have this entire section of their product compared to other alternatives. And again, these aren't necessarily other products that are similar to theirs. It's pretty much just showcasing how these other methods of getting that desired end result just aren't as good as what they have to offer. And yes, something like this probably is custom coded and takes like a ton of work to do, but this just gives you a good idea on how to like actually differentiate yourself. And again, your landing page is really just there to pretty much provide as much social proof as possible, give the customer some FOMO, and ultimately make them feel like the price and your offer is pretty much a no-brainer for them to go ahead with right then and there. So now I'm gonna get into some examples, but before we do, I just want to break down the different kinds of offers that you can create. So more specifically, obviously you could kind of go your traditional BOGO route, whether it be buy one, get one free, buy two, get one free, any sort of buy one, get something free. Those are obviously great offers. Again, I like to use these more so for like consumables and products that people actually run through. The next is bundling with free gifts or upsells at certain pricing thresholds. So if a customer hits $60 in their cart, they get a free gift, that kind of thing. And then the third, which honestly I don't really recommend, is percentage discount. I think these are just so overplayed. Like we've seen it so many times where a brand is just doing a 50% off discount. And honestly, I never recommend people run percentage discounts for the most part. There is one use case for it, and I'll get into that in a second. But first, let's just jump in and start with a BOGO offer so I can break that down. So boom, we land on the page here and you can instantly see that we are auto-selected on this buy three or buy two, get one free. So we're instantly auto-selected on that. It's got text here that says best deal. There's text here flashing saying ending tonight, flash sale. Obviously it's creating a relatively good amount of urgency. The one thing I would actually change here though is I would add one more offer where you're kind of upselling some additional products that would go hand in hand with something like this. Because as I mentioned before, obviously you don't want to sell like 6 neck pillows, because who needs 6 neck pillows? It just doesn't make sense unless you have like a huge family. But I would probably just create one more offer just below it, which would be like an ultimate bundle where you could also get like a sleep mask and maybe like some sort of special earplugs or something like that, and just kind of market it as like the ultimate travel bundle. And again, that's going to just help drive up your AOV big time. Overall, this is like a pretty good offer. Again, you just want to be kind of weary when you're doing buy one, get one frees for certain products like this, because even the buy three or buy two, get one free, like a lot of people probably won't go with that just because because they don't need more than one. So I would maybe look at creating different offers where you're kind of upselling products on a product kind of like this. But anyways, that kind of transitions me into obviously the bundle free gifts, because that's kind of what I was just talking about. And a good example of this is Carpe. So as soon as you land on their page here, you'll see again, you're auto selected on one of their biggest packages. It's green text here, best deal. Again, just kind of makes you more incentivized to go with this one right off the bat. It also shows that like all these gifts are free right away. And if you go down to one stick, all these go to locked. So it's like, am I gonna get one stick for 25 or am I gonna get 4 sticks for 18? And one of the very nifty ways they're actually getting probably a ton of people to go with this 4 sticks, because you'll notice they don't actually have a total price on any of these packages. So people are pretty much gonna have to do the mental math of like, okay, 18 times 4 or 25 times 1. Obviously that one should be easy, but instantly this 4 sticks with the $18, that's the only price you see. It just looks like the no-brainer offer. And again, that's really just what you're trying to aim for, is creating that no-brainer offer. They're obviously also creating a ton of urgency here. They have this order by today's date to guarantee your free gifts, and then plus 4 free gifts with today's limited time offer. A lot of people are gonna fall for this kind of offer and think that this deal actually ends tonight, when I'm sure it doesn't. They probably run this offer like year round, to be honest. And then also just another thing I wanted to showcase here was obviously their us versus them sort of comparison here. So again, this is just making Carpe look like the best option on the market. And then if you scroll down again, you kind of see this similar comparison. So obviously differentiation is something that they're really playing into. And honestly, with like all of my brands, I generally try and follow these same principles. Finally, let's get into the percentage discount. And again, I think this kind of discount is pretty boring and kind of sucks. It's just like overplayed. A lot of people do like 25% off or 50% off. And like, even though customers aren't overly smart, a lot of them can kind of see through that like 50% off today only sort of discount. So I think it's pretty boring, but I do think that there is one use case for it, and Huel is actually doing it really well here. So this is what you see when you land on Huel's landing page here. And obviously what you can see right away is you're actually pre-selected on this flexible plan. And this is where you save 20% on every order. So this is pretty much just like a subscribe and save. And honestly, this is the only time that I recommend doing some sort of percentage discount, is if you're at a point where you're able to create like a subscribe and save sort of offer. But again, pay attention, because obviously you can only create an offer that's like subscribe and save on products that are actually consumables that people go through. Because if you go back and you create like a subscribe and save to neck pillows, like it makes absolutely no sense. So I think the only use case really for like a percentage discount is when you're doing like a flexible or subscribe and save kind of plan. But also if you're like just starting out and you're like fully drop shipping and not even branded or anything, I would stay away from subscribe and save. You'll honestly just run into more problems than it's worth. But yeah, that's honestly pretty much it. Again, these are kind of the 3 main offers that we run with our own personal brands and with our client accounts as well. So if you're struggling with your conversion rate, then try implementing a better offer or pricing strategy. And again, you also have to focus on your landing page and really differentiating yourself from your competitors. Because if someone does come to your store and you have that premium pricing, but your store looks like garbage, then obviously you're going to be at like a 1% conversion rate, if that. So yeah, that's all I have to offer today. Honestly, when it comes down to creating your offer, you just have to A/B test what is going to work for you and sort of just figure it out after some trial and error. Anyways, if you've stuck around to this point in the video, leave a like on the video and let me know in the comments down below if there's any other sort of resources that you want me to create. I'm going to be posting a lot more consistently on here, and I'm honestly not going to gatekeep anything behind a course or a Discord. So yeah, if you're enjoying the videos, feel free to subscribe as well, but I'll see you in the next one.